from India that tend to connect with us that way. So we'll get set up for that. So give us just one moment.
In India, it's morning time right now, so it works pretty well.
Yeah, it certainly does. Okay, let's see. Okay. And okay. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. For all of us souls joining here together to meditate, chant, to share some expressions of awakening, of consciousness, of joy. And again, just an amazing pleasure that Anka and I enjoy each week here. To know that we've all made the kind of choice that we choose to be in consciousness, in meditation, in contact with our own divine nature, as opposed to all the other choices that life presents us with. So congratulations for that choice. This week we have no formal topic announced, as we had said in the email. It's an open forum. We welcome you to guide any thoughts, any sharings that you might wish to post in the chat, in particular here in our Zoom room. We're monitoring that. If you have any questions, if you've got anything specific you would like us to address, if possible, we'll always do our best to provide any answers that come to us.
And also those of you that are watching the recording on YouTube, please comment, because we're always open to hear what you need. So different topics or whatever can help you. Feel free to post that in the comments too.
Exactly. Yeah, we would appreciate that. And we are going to be doing some chanting tonight, as we typically do. We have chant books here in the temple if you'd like one, although I don't think all of them are in that chant book. The chants are fairly simple, and even the songs that we'll sing here tonight, the words are easy and we'll repeat them. So even if you've never heard them before, you can listen and just take them in, and when you feel comfortable, use your voice, your fifth chakra here, chakra for communication and expressing devotion. Yogananda had said chanting is half the battle, so to the extent that we are able to chant with devotion, with an open heart, without getting the mind in the way, and just allowing ourselves to tune to the divine nature within us, then that's half the battle, isn't it? Once we're able to bring about that higher frequency, then we can settle into that, and we can go deeply then into our meditation, which is what we'll do tonight. We'll chant, we'll sing, we'll meditate, and then we'll rinse and repeat.
And even though it may seem like you're in your own space, we're all in our own space, sort of separate spaces, I feel the chanting really helps us so much to unite. So don't feel weird that you're chanting by yourself in your own room, because you're not. You're really one with God, with the Creator, one with the gurus, your own guides, and one with us. So it's so helpful to close the eyes when we chant and to really go within and feel that love, feel that devotion for the divine, whatever that is for you, and really tune into that oneness.
I think that's a wonderful segue for us to join together in this wonderful song. I'm going to call it a song. It's a chant for me. But it's Lord, I am thine. And it is one, of course, that Yogananda had chanted over and over again. You know, it's been said in his Cosmic Chants book, where he has published all of these wonderful chants, he said he'd spiritualized all of them. And what that means is, if you repeat the name of God over and over and over again, just the repetition with devotion, not just rote memory, but going deeply and deeper and deeper and deeper into the expression of God and the various names of God, you will, in fact, manifest God. And Yogananda had done that. He had spiritualized these chants by repeating them hundreds and thousands of times. And he had said that the Divine Mother and God in many varying forms had manifested to him through those chants. And so it is that as we chant them, we know that we're bringing about that vibration of the divine and having God join us in this chant. This is Lord, I am thine. The words are very simple. Be thou mine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine, I am thine. Lord, I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. Again. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I Be thou mine, oh, be thou mine. I am thine, I am thine. I am thine, I am thine. I am thine, I am thine. Just take that in for just a bit, and sitting in your meditative posture with your spine perfectly erect, gaze uplifted to the point between the eyebrows, hands uplifted in a show of receptivity, resting comfortably at the junction of thigh and abdomen, shoulders back, chin level with the floor. And with each breath rising from the abdomen, watching it, drawing it through the heart, the throat, and lifting it up to the point between the eyebrows, holding it there just with a moment of devotion, a moment of breathlessness, and then allowing it to continue its journey back down in its exhalation. Abdomen collapsing back toward the spine as we exhale. Extending outward as we take the next inhalation breath. Drawing all the positive qualities of love, joy. Lifting those qualities up to the seat of highest awareness at the point between the eyebrows. And holding them with devotion in a moment of stillness. And then releasing all the tension and anxiety and doubt that is no longer serving us as we exhale. Taking another inhalation breath. Just observing it impartially. No expectation, no attachment. And then holding it at the seat of highest awareness, the point between the eyebrows. And exhaling. We'll take one deep inhalation breath, and then as we let it out, we'll chant Om together. Ready? Inhale. Come back into the body just a little bit, yes, with that wonderful Encinitas conch shell blowing its horn. Gently opening up the eyes, the gaze. That chant, Lord, I am thine, is one of my favorite. I find myself chanting that most every day. It's so simple. And, you know, I understand what Yogananda had often said about chanting is half the battle, because life can be so challenging. And I could talk all day long about the situations we're faced with in these days, of course, the most challenging of times in our lifetimes. And so, what better way to get through each and every day than to practice the presence of the divine through chanting? And it really works. When I'm washing dishes, or Anka and I are preparing food, or I'm in a meeting with Hewlett-Packard among my clients, and I'm always chanting that. Lord, I am thine. Be thou mine. Be thou mine. Lord, I am thine. Over and over and over again. And as Anka said earlier, we're never alone, are we? There's no reason to ever feel alone or lost or troubled when you have the divine within you, that portable paradise. You have it all the time. All you have to do is activate it. Bring it into your state of being, your state of consciousness, your awareness. Draw it to that seat of highest awareness in the physical body. It's through this single eye that you can see the truth, that you can be the truth. And the Bible said, let thine eye be single. And as you chant simple, simple words, but with such power and such depth, it's impossible for me to get too drawn into the worldliness of things around me, no matter how challenging they may be. Sure, like everyone, I'm faced with my responses to all of the circumstances which around me are inherently neutral. My response makes them what they become for me, whether they're a positive, uplifting experience or a negative, downtrodden one. So when I can uplift my energy, my whole being becomes more joyful and lighter. Life becomes light and fun and joyful, not heavy and a downer, as you see often those who allow that energy to come down, their shoulders drooping, the corners of their mouth dropping, the brow furling. Oh, no, we aren't that. Excuse me. I'm working with my client Hewlett Packard on their Worldwide Ambassador Summit, and among our executives is our CEO of Hewlett Packard, Antonio Neri, who is a wonderful, wonderful man. I have such respect for Antonio. He spoke at the World Economic Forum this year, and in fact, he led a panel of executives from tech industries to discuss the post-COVID world, to explore where do we go from here. So I printed out his talk, the key points of it. If you're interested, by the way, let me know. I'm willing to email this to you. If any of you would like it, just let me know. Send me an email or call me. It was entitled, How COVID-19 Ended the Information Era and Ushered in the Age of Insight. And he started with a couple of key points. He said the COVID-19 crisis has been the catalyst for rapid change and brought with it the greatest opportunity to accelerate towards a brighter future. He said, a new era defined by insights and discoveries that will benefit all of society has arrived. Technology companies will play a crucial role in ensuring this transformation and that it will be sustainable, inclusive, and trustworthy. COVID-19 introduced challenges that we as a society were not ready to address. We are converting to a digital-first world overnight, becoming fully connected, ensuring all of our personal data remains protected, and taking steps to not leave anyone behind in this new digital economy. He said, data is the new gold. This is how it can benefit everyone while harming no one. Now, I won't read all the details which he gets into, and I have some links in here to some other articles he referenced, which are really wonderful, including the digital transformation powering the Great Reset. And the accelerating digital transformation in a post-COVID-19 world. But all of these provide best practices and guidance for each of us, quite frankly. Whether we're connected to technology or not in any direct way, we are all influenced and uplifted by it potentially. And clearly we have challenges that we are faced with. We see them in the expression across social media today. I myself am quite concerned that our children are not really being given the opportunity to, shall I say, learn media literacy in today's digital connected world. You see, it's not like when I was a child where everything came in the daily newspaper, something that I would go outside to the front porch and pick up after the paper boy left it earlier that morning. And I always looked forward to opening it up, and sure, when I was young, I'd go right to the comics. But as I grew older, I would read, you know, the headlines and the stories, and there were writers in there that had opinions, clearly, and wrote columns, and many of them I felt associated to, affiliated with. I had, you know, they resonated for me. And so I looked forward to their next article. It seemed that we have lost much of that in this digital world. It's interesting because, sure, the print has become less so, and it's all digital, and it's available 7x24 in living color, video as well as audio and print. But from a technology standpoint, as Antonio says, the future that we all thought about and talked about long before the pandemic came has arrived well ahead of schedule. We expected these advancements in digitizing our world, in adopting new business models, in adjusting our social interactions, the way in which we established and grew and maintained meaningful relationships with ourselves and with others, and for generating outcomes for students, for teachers, researchers, patients, doctors, community members. We expected to have time to adjust and adapt to these changes. But instead, we were faced with an overnight transformation. Today, all of these things are no longer predictions, they're realities. And our ability to adapt and adjust to them will allow this voice to pass. Enjoy the conch shell of Encinitas. See, COVID-19, I don't see in such a negative context. Sure, it is one of those chimes signaling a change. Like all good alarm clocks. They're inherently neutral, but we set them to wake us up in the morning so that we're on time. We can get our children up, our spouse, we can get ready for work or play or meditate, whatever we do throughout our day. We have many chimes that we use throughout the day. When my body aches, it's a chime. I get to look inward. What is it that I'm doing to this physical form that is causing that pain? Am I working it too much, not enough in the right way? Am I eating the right food? I look to see how I'm feeling all the time to see if I'm in balance. So all of these are signals, and they're very useful signals. Without them, I would be flying this physical form blindly. But I have to listen, and I have to pay attention. COVID-19 crisis was that catalyst for the rapid change we've all experienced recently, and it presents the opportunity for us to collectively shift our priorities as well and refocus on what truly matters in our lives and accelerate ourselves to a brighter future. Not just to overcome the virus, we'll overcome the virus. Pfizer, as you probably have read, announced very recently that they've had a very large positive result in their phase 3 testing of the vaccine for COVID-19. 90% effective, it's been shown. Now, clearly there's more testing to be required, but we are at a very, very close now to having a response, as we have had to diphtheria, polio, and many, many other diseases that we have been faced with throughout our lifetimes and our parents' and grandparents' lifetimes. And clearly we will have others that will come into being. COVID-19 itself is a mutation of other viruses. COVID itself is mutating as we speak. They've found several variants of COVID-19, variants in its own genetic structure, a very simple genetic structure, but a single gene in that structure, when it shifts, changes dramatically its capacity for transmission, its capacity for invading into the cell of a human body. And so it's adapting as well, and so are we. All things adapt. And so it is that we are today moving out of the age of information. You know, I grew up in the 50s, like many of you. We grew up in the industrial age. And prior to that, it was the agrarian age, the age of farming. Then it became the age of manufacturing, the industrial age. And then the information age begun in the 70s, and of course in the 90s with the rise of the internet. It was coined the information age by Al Gore, our then vice president. But today we're entering into a fourth new revolution. Today we have entered into the age of insight. See, all prior ages have been all about production, all about output. It's been all about finding answers to problems. Can we produce enough food to feed ourselves on the planet? What is the right fertilizer? How do we turn the soil? What crops, when rotated, can self-sustain each other through the ecosystem of farming in the agrarian age? How do we apply engineering science into new machines and mechanisms to fabricate a new society, characterized by roads and bridges and infrastructure of transportation and aircraft and missiles and rockets and satellites encircling the earth to improving our communications capabilities, our weather predictions. The technology of the industrial age has been incredible. And suddenly then the internet, spawning the access to all, regardless of where you were in the world, to information, seemingly instantly. Clearly the limitations were around we called the digital divide. You had to have a device, an appliance that could connect to the internet, a computer, now a phone. Even our refrigerator today connects to the internet. All of our cars do. So it's truly become ubiquitous. But there are still many on this planet today who have never so much as heard a dial tone, who have no telephone, who have no internet, who have no computer. And so it is, the transformation does tend to underscore this digital divide, those that have versus those that don't. It's something for us to bridge. The information age lasted fairly short period of time. It was coined in 1996, 24 years ago. Do you remember what you were doing in November of 1995? I will guarantee you, you were not posting on Facebook. I guarantee you, you were not using a browser to search websites. It was in October of that year that Netscape commercialized the first browser. It was a Mosaic browser that was developed at the University of Chicago in Urbana, Illinois. Mark Andreessen, a graduate student on that team, subsequently took that code for that bit of software that enabled researchers across 5 universities to share information. And that piece of software they used to share information across those 5 universities became a commercial browser, the very first of its kind. That company went public in November of 1995. Made Mark a very wealthy man. Shortly thereafter, in 1996, we all started looking at what kind of website did we want to have. I say we. I was in technology myself, so I was an early adopter, but probably not many of you. 24 years. And look at how connected the world has become. We look as if social networks have been here all along. They haven't. They're new. YouTube, Facebook, Google, Yahoo. Pretty new. And unfortunately, with them, because of the rate at which they had become into being, and the massive proliferation of hundreds of millions, nay, billions of people now utilizing them each and every day, we have created a social dilemma. Now, if you'd like, there's a wonderful movie out by that title. You can Google it, The Social Dilemma. I will give you a disclaimer now. It's scary. But it talks specifically to the need that we have to realize the birth of social media and what actually was its origins, its intentions, very pure intentions. The senior vice president of engineering at Facebook, who was among those that developed the Facebook, who created things like the like button and sharing, those features that many use regularly today. He said in this movie how they believed that they were bringing a great gift into the world that was going to improve lives, that was going to benefit mankind. He also went on to say he's not sure that that's true today. You see, what began as an advertising subsidized tool, much like television and radio in the 50s, where we were okay getting that 60-second commercial in the middle of Father Knows Best, or Leave It to Beaver, or any of the other many wonderful shows that we watched in the 50s and 60s. And those advertisers were selling us everything from butter to hair products to you name it, but they were pretty much the kinds of laundry detergent, things like that that we would use. And sure, the advertising influenced our purchase behavior when our parents would go to the grocery store. And they probably influenced me in terms of my likes and dislikes for certain kinds of food. But they didn't fundamentally change the way in which I believed. That's what social media can do today. You see, social media is no longer an advertising revenue-based platform. Social media sells their ability to influence your behavior to manufacturers that want to be able to influence your behavior. Now, whether you're Russia, who seeks desperately to influence the elections in a democratic society, or China, who wants to influence monetary currency markets worldwide, or a political campaign that wants to spread conspiracy theories and fear and doubt that can in fact begin to crumble the mere foundations of our democracy. This is the power that these tools possess in influencing us as a society. They are the ultimate propaganda tool. Now, I'm not saying they're all bad. They're not. They were created for good. But how they're being used, like Yogananda said, all circumstances are neutral. A hammer is a very important tool, but if used improperly can be very dangerous. A flame, heat, cooks our food, warms our houses, lights our rooms, can also burn down our houses and our rooms and destroy life. So we must become more literate. We must have the capacity to move beyond an information age where we have access to just information, and we must be able to generate insights from that information. And I'll repeat from Antonio Neri, a friend at Hewlett-Packard CEO, today we're entering the age of insight, a new era defined by insights and discoveries that benefit all and that elevate the greater well-being of every human on this planet. That's the promise of technology. Not influencing our behavior so that we can sway voters one way or another or get them to join into a hysterical protest around some misguided conspiracy theory. But in fact, to take the vast treasure trove of data, as Antonio calls it, the gold of the new era, and to harvest that gold for insights. Now, I will say it's amazing how enormous the data has become. Imagine for a moment the ability to extract every action that takes place within your own human body. Trillions of cells communicating simultaneously in real time, multiple systems operating in real time, an autonomic nervous system that's keeping your heart beating, your blood flowing, your oxygen moving into the cells, the nutrients of food that you've eaten through the digestive tract absorbed into the cells, providing you energy, the genetic code within the cells, expressing the formation of enzymes, subsequently making proteins that make up every aspect of your body. Imagine the vast amount of information that's taking place in those processes, beyond the human mind's capacity to even comprehend. And clearly beyond technical capacity to capture, store, analyze, and gain insights. But that's changing very quickly. You know, fairly recently, all of technology was predicated on the capacity of the electron to carry information. See, an electron is a charged particle, a very small one, negatively charged. And we know, as a fundamental law in physics, that moving charges create fields. And fields carry information. That's how your cells communicate with each other. That's how your DNA is communicating with the astral dimension, where you are drawing life force, prana, that sustains the very form you call your body. That electron was our fundamental method around which our information age was fabricated. It was the core essence of every circuit in every computer. And Moore, Gordon, founder of Intel, the great company, of course, for many you may not know, but Intel had pioneered the research around the central processor, that CPU, the brain of the computers that we use within our laptops and now our phones and our refrigerators, but the CPU. And he had his law called Moore's Law, and for 50 years that law worked. He said every year we're going to be able to double the number of transistors that we can fit into the same space of silicon at half of the cost, and we'll get twice the performance. Double the transistors, half the price, and twice the speed every year. And he was right. This is why we started out in 1977 with the first personal computer, the Commodore PET. And later, a computer that I was a part of, the K-Pro, 1982. 4.7 megahertz clock speed, running at 16 kilobytes of addressable memory, we call RAM. Your computer today is operating more like 3 gigabytes per second clock speed. 10,000 times faster. You're operating with, probably my phone has 16 gigabytes of memory, 16 gigs. 1,000,000 times more memory. So Gordon was right. Every year we saw new computers, new versions. We just saw the Apple iPhone version 10. Every year there's another model that comes out. Well, guess what? 3 years ago, Moore's Law broke down. We started to realize we were not able to fit more transistors in the same space at half the cost and get twice the speed. Why? Because the electron was the carrier for the wave of information that was moving through those circuits. And the electron proved to be too slow and too fat to go any faster than what we had pushed it to go. The age of information had reached its limit. It had gotten to its peak. So you ask yourself, well, now we're in an age of insight where we're going to be able to harness petabytes of information. Not giga, not tera, petabytes. 1,000 times more information than we're currently even looking at today in your devices. And we're going to do that in the next 3 years. We are going to accelerate our ability to oscillate, to move back and forth. An oscillation, a cycle, is what creates a wave that can carry information. Whether the information is being carried from cell to cell in your body or from machine to machine, it doesn't matter. But to have true insights is to be able to harness the petabytes of data that's generated in real time every second within your body. We don't have technology today to do that, but we will in 3 years. Quantum computing is the new technical platform. Quantum is not limited by space-time as we know this physical dimension to be limited by. Quantum says a particle can exist as a wave and a particle simultaneously. And as a wave, it can propagate throughout space and time infinitely. It can be all places, all the time, simultaneously. Well, guess what? The sages of India for thousands of years have been saying this all along. The spiritual science has said that we are not these physical bodies, that we are vibratory consciousness, and that consciousness is everywhere all the time. It's not localized just into one small package called the body or the cell. It's everywhere. This is why our divine nature, our soul, is so much more of who we truly are than the limitation of our physical form. And so it is as we usher in this age of insight, accelerated through COVID-19. The technical advances that are happening are astounding, beyond the human mind's capacity to even comprehend. And yet, were we able to get a vaccine in less than 12 months? When it has taken 25 years in the past. Now, clearly, some of that you could answer was governmental agencies removing some of the roadblocks. They softened some of the requirements for testing to take place. They funded some of the research. In the case of Pfizer, by the way, I want to make the point, as the CEO of Pfizer did, they took no money from any government, and certainly not the Trump administration. They didn't participate in the fast-track program of the Trump administration. Trump is going to want to claim that he brought that vaccine to the market. He didn't. Pfizer, in partnership with a German company, utilizing quantum technologies, were able to study the effects of various attributes within the cell of the COVID-19 virus. Study the RNA, study the DNA, study how its RNA is transmitted into the human cell. Study the physical aspects of the COVID-19 virus. And as you know, just like Edison had given us a light bulb, and he tried 10,000 different materials, 10,000 experiments to come up with tungsten, the metal that when enough electrons passed through it, it would get hot from the friction of that little particle running through that wire, through that metal. It would get hot, and it would then glow if it's encased in a vacuum, in a bulb, with an inert gas. And that gave us the light bulb. But it was 10,000 attempts. I don't know about you, but I've never done anything 10,000 times. I would get so bored and so tired and so frustrated, I would give up long before that. He didn't. Now imagine trying to study all the tiny little changes that you could make within the cell of a virus, within the DNA. Trillions upon trillions of trials would have to be made to truly study it, to gain an insight as to what makes that virus function. We didn't have technology capable. You know, you think about it back, as I mentioned previously, my first computer in the mid to late 1970s ran at 4 megahertz, 4 megahertz. 4 million instructions per second, 4 million. That's not 4 billion, that's not 4 trillion, that's not 4 quadrillion, that's not 4 petabillion, that's 4 million. That was very, very slow. It would take a long, 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 long time to gain much insights about anything at that kind of speed. Well, with quantum technologies now, and some of the patents, by the way, developed within the research labs at Hewlett-Packard and other companies. They had made those patents available to other people within the scientific community, specifically to study the COVID-19 virus. And it was some of those patents utilized that was enabling us to do multiple trials and tests, not 10,000 of them to come up with the perfect metal for a light bulb, but 1 billion trials to come up with the perfect way in which we can influence the way that that vaccine operated so that we could render it functionally impotent in the human cell. That's why we got a vaccine so quickly. Technology has accelerated beyond the speed of the electron, and the world is going to change dramatically as a result. Now, what does that mean to us? You know, some of us have studied yoga and the science of religion for many years. I myself have spent many years in India with academics, with spiritual leaders, with saints, living in the body. I've tuned my consciousness to my own Gurudev Yogananda for many, many, many years. Countless meditations to tune to the highest truth. It's those realizations that the physical material science is coming to today. The physical science, the scientists today are starting to now understand what the spiritual scientists of yesteryear have known for countless millennium. We are at the verge of a convergence of the two worlds. The Eastern world of the saints and sages and the Western world of organized science are coming together in a beautiful way. COVID-19 is one of the first major tests of that, by the way. COVID-19 is going to prove to be overcome, to be conquered through that convergence. Because we have entered into a new age, the age of insight. The insights that are born of countless massive amounts of data that we are able to capture and analyze and harvest and mine into useful insights. This is how we will conquer forms of cancer treatments, Alzheimer's, diabetes, so many other things that are the scourge of humanity that are killing hundreds of thousands, millions every year. This is the significance of the age of insight. I bring that up because it's through meditation that we're able to gain our own inner insights, that we are not limited by the physical realm of our human body or the mind and the brain that it serves. Like the electrons that are operant in this physical body, carrying signals through the wires of my neural system, my nerves. That's a very limited perspective on how my body actually works. The quantum view is everything is talking to everything all the time simultaneously. And if I could enable that, if you could enable that in your own body, you would have no disease. You would know nothing but pure joy. You would live in your birthright of pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure love, calmness, peace, wisdom. This is what our future holds for us as mankind. Maybe not in my lifetime. I am sure there will be hundreds of years yet to come for us to truly harvest insights and us to move into new eras. But we are all experiencing this because we are in the ascending arc of Dwapara Yuga, the age of energy awareness. This is the very beginning of that accelerating. It isn't good enough to just have a vast reach and access to information. You know, Henry Bates, no, it was Greg Bates, I think, Gregory Bates, I'm sorry, a great man. He was great with words and language. And he defined information in a unique way. He said, information is difference that makes a difference. He said, so given that definition, if something that you call information isn't unique, then it's redundant. And if it doesn't make a real meaningful difference, then it's useless. So I ask myself all the time when I'm reading a book or I'm looking at a post on social media or an article or watching a TV show or anything like that, is it uniquely insightful or is it redundant? Is it going to drive meaningful change? Then it's useless. So we are nearing the end of the information era. We're on focusing on generating and collecting massive amounts of data that couldn't be brought together to deliver any kind of timely insight and inform actions that could change our future for the better. We are moving beyond social media. We're just simply posting every day and feeling drawn into showing us how cute your cat is or how wonderful it is of aspects within your own life. Sure, they're wonderful to be shared across your family and friends, perhaps. But beware that every time you click, every time you swipe, that's being recorded. That these platforms, Google, Facebook, Yahoo, Twitter, Twitch, all of them, are able through these machine language, artificially intelligent algorithms, tracking every single click. And they are taking that using new technologies to analyze and gain insights into your own behavior to be able to not just predict your behavior, but control it. They have scientists, social scientists, cognitive scientists, who are going through this data as we speak, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Now, this isn't a conspiracy, and I'm not trying to drive fear into any of you. I'm trying to drive insight. Just recognize that in this transition from the age of information into the age of insight, we must, with it, gain a new form of media literacy. We must begin to understand the implications of our own actions. Like karma, every action has a reaction. Everything we do, every word we speak has a consequence. That is going to play out in ways we had never imagined in the future. It's playing out, in fact, today. I have friends of mine, very sharp, college educated, meditating, kind, conscious friends who are swayed into conspiracy theories of delusion based on a lack of media literacy on their part. It's changed the core of their behavior. It's changing who they are fundamentally. And I have direct experience with that. So I have to look within myself and become more media aware, more media literate. Thank God I have a Guru Dev. Thank God I have a Guru Dev. Thank God for Guru. Without the guidance of the Guru, I would be so lost. We all will allow the voice. I love that conch shell, by the way. See, that's a chime for a change. There are many that would say, I can't sleep with that noise. I had many here at the temple, right here where you're sitting, that would say, oh, I can't meditate. John, you know, you've been here, right? Some years ago, remember, we went and bought a box of earplugs. I still have them here. In fact, because so many would complain that their meditation was disrupted by that sound. When that sound goes by, I go deeper in my meditation. When I was building my home in Malibu some years ago, the lot across from mine, big lot on the beach, was purchased by a wealthy retired man, and he and his wife built this massive home, huge home, I don't know, 12,000 square feet. It was so massive. And I would go over occasionally and watch them in their construction, and I would talk to his wife. Well, they moved in finally after several years, and she was miserable. And I asked her, so what's going on? She says, I can't sleep at night. This damn ocean is making so much noise at night. The waves are keeping me up. They literally had to sell the house and move because the ocean was a distraction for her sleep. I don't know about you, but the ocean puts me to sleep. It doesn't keep me up. I'll close with this. The age of insight requires new principles and priorities for all of us as we embrace this digital transformation. Anka and I have both embraced it here. I mean, we're an example of that. Here we sit in the Temple of Joy, connected to you around the world, using Zoom, using a new camera that we just recently got, lighting, microphones, all this technology, just so we can connect with you. And at the same time, we have beautiful devotee here sitting at the temple with us physically. It's not an either or. It's a both and. There is no going back. We have entered a new age, and this is a transformation of insight. Deep insights. To make the next wave of progress a reality, we all must work together. Now, Antonio goes on, because he's again addressing all the leading CEOs of the world at the World Economic Forum, to say, many of the most effective approaches to addressing this pandemic have emerged from novel collaborations between individual companies, and between companies and governments. Ventilator production, diagnostic testing, vaccine research have all emerged virtually overnight from the private sector responding to public demand, executed in coordination with government agencies, and we must continue to collaborate boldly to drive innovation and ensure that this digital progress doesn't cause greater inequality. I will mention, of course, that Trump himself had talked about, and he did, encourage the stockpiling of 100 million doses of a vaccine, yet to be finished, yet to be released. And his claim was he wanted to hoard it for America only. See, the reason we're getting the vaccine that we're getting, and the reason that it will conquer the challenges of COVID-19, and the reason that we'll be able to conquer any and all challenges that we face in the future, and there will be more, and they will be as extreme as COVID-19, is through us working together. In the same way, the spiritual science is now coupled with the physical science to express itself in the most complete picture of how nature operates, the most complete picture of God himself manifesting within the material realm, the most complete picture of the path that we can all follow to an enhanced quality of life. We have a responsibility to play a larger role within ourselves, within society, to help improve the well-being of all people, regardless of race, color, religion, sexual orientation, economic status, political affiliation, geography, language, culture, currency. None of those should form barriers and obstacles from us being one. The age of insight will accelerate this for us. It has the greatest potential we've ever realized to bring about the most meaningful change. We all deserve to live in that sort of world. But it begins with each of us individually. The transformation is always from within. As it's said in the Vedas all along, from within as without. Whatever we are resonating within us, whatever thoughts we're thinking, we are expressing outwardly, whether we know it or not. We can't hide it. If we feel fearful, we're going to express fear. If we fear anger, hate, we're going to be expressing that. The vibration of the wave knows no limitation, no boundary. It's not limited by the electron. It's not carried through medium of wires and circuits and silicon. We've known that it is connected to all things, all the time, everywhere, simultaneously. So know that you are the change. Know that you are that circuit, that singular aspect, that central processing unit of change. Know that you are a force for good. I know that what we face in today's world is filled with so much Maya. The spiritual sciences talked about the duality of nature. It's the defining characteristic of the physical realm. In physics, we would say it is the defining characteristic of all things in nature. Because every atom has a positive and a negative pole. It is polarized. Everything is made of atoms. Everything, therefore, is made of duality. It is polarized. The planet has a north and a south pole, the Earth. The cosmos, the galaxies, there is no escaping it. But consciousness is not that. It has no birth, it has no death, there is no beginning, there's no end. It just is. And that's who you are. Beyond birth, beyond death. Beyond the limitations of what this outer Leela, the play of life as it plays on the screen of our lives each and every day. So go inward. Become more media aware. Become more conscious of the influences that it's bearing upon you in the way that you think and act. Tune to a higher consciousness and allow that to express itself in the wave of your life out into the world. And don't allow the lack of media literacy to spread all the negative attributes that it has the capacity to spread. You see, in this life, heaven and hell coexist. We don't die to go to heaven, nor do we die to go to hell. We live to experience heaven and hell in this lifetime and in these bodies. So let's do that. Let's live a life that's uplifted. Let's go within in our meditation. Let's practice the presence of God through chanting. All day, every day, Lord, I am thine, be thou mine. Lord, I am thine, be thou mine. Be thou mine. Because I know that thou and I are never apart. You are never disconnected. You are never alone. You have everything that you need. Everything. Let's enjoy this as we go into a short meditation. It's a wonderful song written by Jaya Lakshmi and Ananda called I Bow to You. Again, I like this, I bow to you. Yeah. You're the creator. You're the sustainer. You're the destroyer of all. You're my lover. You're my partner. You're my teacher of all. The chorus is, I bow to you. And 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 I bow to you, Lord, and I bow to you. You're the earth from which all things grow. You're the water, the eternal flow. You're the fire that glows on and on. You're the air I breathe in for this song, and I bow to you, 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 and I bow to you. You're the sweetness that embraces me. You're the all-pervading truth and beauty. You're the infinite love, bestower of grace. You're the compassion, the healing space, and I bow to you, 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 and I bow to you. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Jai Guru. So we'll take that reality into our short meditation here as we close out our satsang tonight. And again, blessings to us all. But let's begin with a prayer together, if you would. Bring your hands together in pranam. And with devotion and an open heart and mind, repeat these words to yourself inwardly or outwardly. But join me as we call upon the great saints and sages of all religions to help us in our meditation. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Lord Jesus Christ, Bhagavan Krishna, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, Paramahansa Yogananda, saints and sages of East and West, Humbly we bow before you, Divine Mother. Help us to open our hearts that we may know your infinite love, and that we may share that love with all whom we meet. May our thoughts be pure and fixed only on Thee, that your wisdom may guide the transformation that will benefit all of mankind. We are your children, made in your image. Thou and I are never apart. Thou and I are never apart. Om Shanti Shanti. Amen. Take this time now, whatever techniques that you know and practiced, enjoy a meditation together. It will be brief, maybe 5 minutes, but take it deeply inward. It's never the length, but the devotion that you bring to it that matters, and that it will enable you to carry that throughout your day. while in a meditative state. Begin to visualize at the point between the eyebrows any in your life that need love, healing energy, awareness, kindness. And see them clearly at that point between the eyebrows, surrounding them with your conscious, loving, healing light. And with that vision, bring your hands into pranam as we invoke Divine Mother's healing power with this prayer. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all Thy children. Manifest Thy healing energy and sending it into these bodies, minds, and souls. Rubbing the hands together and sending out your conscious healing energy to those in need on these 3 waves of Om for a healthy body. For clear minds. And for divinely awakened souls. And on one final wave of Om, let's send out our love and light to all living beings on this planet. Join me in our closing prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, great masters of self-realization, saints and sages of all religions, we humbly bow before you. Divine Mother, may your love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion. And may we be able to awaken that love in hearts everywhere. Om. Peace. Amen. Before we close with you that are with us here live, I just want to talk to those enjoying the recording. Thank you for doing so. And if you'd like, please subscribe to our channel. Enjoy these other great videos that we have of our weekly healing circles on Tuesdays at 7, our weekly meditation satsang Wednesdays at 7, all Pacific time, and Thursday morning 10 a.m. our yoga class. We have virtually hundreds of videos available for you, and again, we trust that you will continue to do your own inner work, to gain your own insights, and to begin to share those insights of love and joy and uplifting vibration out into the world. Thank you for enjoying this time with us, and God bless us all.